Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope all of you are doing well, and today I've got the world premiere of the latest version of Collided Worlds that I'm working on. I'm going to do a little gameplay demonstration for you guys today. I've got two of my test decks complete, red and yellow, and so I'm going to pit these two against each other in a little gameplay demo for you. So I've already got these decks shuffled up, and so basically all there is to do is to draw 5 cards for each player, so they all have their opening hand. So there's the red player's opening hand, and then I've got the yellow player's opening hand right here. And then once you have your hands drawn, then each player sets aside a number of cards face down. These serve as the player's stocks, or basically their life force. So basically when a player is attacked and takes damage, they add one of the cards from their stocks to their hand. Normally you would play with 5 stocks, but for this demo I'm going to have each player play with 3. So I've got them off to the side here. And normally you'd also flip a coin to see who goes first, but for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to let the red player go first. And so the way a turn goes is that you start by drawing a card, but since the player going first is taking their first turn, they don't do that. And now I want to quickly go over to the 2 card types. You have your units, and then you have your actions. Units stay in play while your actions go to your discard pile after being used. There's also a bit of a difference here with these numbers in the corner. Your units give you, this number actually represents your star power or SP. Units give you this much star power listed, while actions cost the number of star power listed. So each turn, a player gets to play 1 unit per turn, but as many actions as they have per turn, as long as they have enough SP to do so. So for this person's turn, they're going to play a unit. They're going to play Johnny Lockjaw Jones here. Play him down, and then the red player gets 2 SP to use for actions if they want to. And as far as the number of units you can have in play is concerned, a player may have up to 3 units in play at a time. But just because you have a unit in play doesn't mean you get to attack right away. Units have to wait at least 1 full turn before they can attack. So since this unit can't attack, the red player has to pass their turn, and it's the yellow player's turn. So they're going to start off by drawing a card, and then they are going to play a card of their own. They're going to put down citrus and gain 2 star points themselves, and that'll do it for their turn. And so now it's back to the red player's turn, so they draw. And they are going to actually put Malicious Master Max down. And they gain 0 SP for that, since he has 0 in his SP value. But now we get to try to attack, so basically now he has a unit that can attack, and so when you attack, you choose one of your units, and then you freeze it, which is to say you turn it sideways, and then units that are attacking will go toward your opponent's stocks, but your opponent also has the option of blocking with any unfrozen characters they may have, or units as it's called in the game. And so they are going to actually opt to block with their unit. And so when units are blocking, when one unit attacks another, you compare their combat power or CP. You can see Johnny has 500 CP compared to Citrus's 700 CP, and units will take damage according. Units deal damage to each other equal to their CP, and CP is also a representation of how much damage they can take before being knocked out. But as you can see right now, Citrus has 700 CP while Johnny has 500, and so he would be able to. So Citrus would be able to deal enough to knock out Johnny right here. But Johnny, as the attacking player, can also is going to be spending 2 of their star power here to play an action card, which is Sudden Surge. This has the reaction, which basically means you can play it at specific times, not just during your main phase of your turn. So when they play this card, they can choose a unit to gain 200 CP until the end of the turn. And so they'll do that to Johnny here, giving it another 200, which just gives it 700 CP. So now they are going to damage each other for 700, and they will both knock each other out. So they both get sent to each other's discard pile. And that does it for the red player's turn. Since they just played Malicious Master Max, they are unable to do any. They can't attack anymore, so it is now the yellow player's turn. They're going to draw. And so for their turn, they are going to play Victoria Quethorn as their unit per turn and gain 5. 5 star power there. And as far as actions they want to play, they're going to actually play an action here on their main phase, which is going to be a Revival Ray, which allows them to return a unit from their trash to their hand, trash being the discard pile. And so they go down to 4 SP, and they're going to get their Citrus back into their hand. Now there is one other thing you can do with your units. As you can see, some units have a backup listed as well as a plus 100. So basically you can attach a unit to another unit you have in play to give that unit, to give the attached unit a CP bonus equal to the backup value listed. So I'm going to do that here. So basically now Victoria Quethorn here has 200 CP instead of 100. And so since that character just came into play, it is now the red player's turn. They're going to draw. And they're going to put Dexter into play, and that will give them 3 SP. Unfortunately, they have nothing else to use, so they're going to actually go ahead and attack. They're going to let Max attack here. And as for the yellow player, they're going to just take this hit, and so when they take damage, they take 1 card from their stocks and they add it to their hand, like so. Dexter can't attack since he just came into play, and so now it is the yellow player's turn, so they draw. And they are going to and the yellow player is going to play a unit. They're going to play Vincent here, which gives them an extra SP, and also has an automatic ability that kicks in, meaning if he controls Victoria, this character gets plus 300 CP, so since Victoria's in play, Vincent now has 800 CP instead of 500, which is pretty good. And the yellow player doesn't have much that they're going to do, but so they might go to attacks, but the yellow player doesn't really want to attack here since they don't really want to lose their Victoria here to that blocking Dexter potentially, so they're going to opt to not attack here and they're just going to pass their turn. So basically when the next player's turn, red player's turn, so they basically start by unfreezing any frozen characters they have, and then they draw. And so the red player's going to play Billy here, and they're gonna gain another 3 SP. And the red player is also going to use an action. They're going to play Bombardment to deal 200 damage to each opposing unit. So that's enough to take out Victoria here, as well as deal some damage to Vincent. So now Vincent's knocked down all the way to 300, which is not good for the yellow player. And so now they're going to go to attacks, so they're going to start by sending Max to attack. But the yellow player is going to play a reaction card of their own, a reflex guard for 2, and that's going to cause that attack to be negated. And the red player is also going to attack with Dexter, and they're going to let Vincent just block here. So Vincent's going to be doing 300 damage since he already has 200 damage on him, while Dexter does 400 damage. So Dexter takes the damage, and Vincent takes damage as well, being knocked out. And that does it for the red player's turn. Yellow player's going to go and draw their card here. They're going to put down a unit of their own and gain some SP. And the yellow player is going to just hold off here. And so it is now the red player's turn once again. And so now the red player has a full field. So even though I just drew this unit here, I can't play it down, even if I wanted to, since I already have a full field. But I might as well press on and attack. I'm gonna have all 3 of my characters go to attack here. And unfortunately, the yellow player can only really block one of these, so the yellow player is going to end up blocking Dexter here. So Citrus takes 100 damage, while Dexter takes enough to be knocked out. The other 2 attacks are going to go after the yellow player's life, so they take 2 of their stocks. So the yellow player has taken all their stocks, but they actually don't lose quite yet. They basically, if they attack one more time, they would lose the game then. But the yellow player has one last chance to be able to do something here. So they're going to draw their card. And they're going to decide what they're going to do. They're going to opt to play another Citrus to gain some more SP. They're going to also use an action card, Healing Light, to heal all damage from one of their units. And then they get to draw a card afterward. And then they're going to opt to back up one of their citruses with this Victoria here, who gives a backup plus 200. So they attach it there. So now at least one of the citruses has 900. And they are going to attack. Normally they would freeze, but Citrus has a special ability, Brave, which means it doesn't freeze even after it attacks, so they can just go ahead and attack with it. And since the red player doesn't have any units to block with, they get to take a stock and put it into their hand. And now the red player gets to go. They unfreeze their characters and draw. They have a pretty good card they can play right now to try to close this game out. They are going to play Dexter from their hand, which states that if they control a unit with Billy in its name, this unit gets Rush, meaning it can attack on the same turn it comes into play. And we already control Billy right here, so Dexter gains Rush. And you'll notice Billy has a similar ability. Since we control Dexter, he gets 300 CP, so now he's up to 700. And you also get the star points for that. And so now they get to attack here, and they might as well go all in. They're going to send each of their characters individually to go after the opponent here. Unfortunately, the yellow player can only really block 2 of them, but they are going to still do that. So these 2 block each other, but the remaining attacker will still be able to deal damage to the stocks, but the opponent has no stocks here, so the red player ends up winning this game. And that about does it for this little gameplay demonstration. Thank you for watching. Definitely leave a like if you enjoyed, and feel free to comment below if you have any questions or any observations about this playtest if you want to. I always look forward to seeing what you have to say. I'll see you in whatever video I upload next, and take care.